Welcome to Have an Opinion. We were gone last week because someone, we'll get into that in a little bit. But today we're talking about the college football playoff, a little Star Wars action with a little bit of a preview of what's to come in the future, as well as our top 10 summer songs. All that and more today on Have an Opinion. And welcome back to Have an Opinion. If you listened last week, you couldn't have, because you're a liar, because there was no episode last week. And if you were to have listened, you would have heard me talk about how rough of a day I had trying to find mic stands, and how I didn't find them for cheap. And then my saving grace of that day was podcasting. And so Kyle shows up, and I had everything ready, because the first episode we did of this third season, I wasn't ready. We sat here for 20 minutes while I set everything up, and of course things weren't working the way the YouTube tutorial said they would. Eventually I got it, but I felt very embarrassed. Kyle holds me in a high regard, and I can't let him down like that again. So last week I was like, okay, this is it. We're in the zone here. Everything's ready. I forgot that the metronome was on Logic Pro X, which is the thing I record onto, the app I record onto. I forgot I have the metronome where it's automatically on unless you turn it off.
Gotcha.
So I go on, we record the episode, I go, the metronome was on. But I said it in a way that was like no big deal. Because we also record the video through OBS.
Right.
And I had the audio as the same inputs as we're using here. So there was the backup, might have sounded a little weird. Right. Turns out I didn't do that last week. So then I go, uh-oh.
That's what it was?
Yes.
Okay.
So the backup audio on the thing we record the video on was not existent.
Okay.
There's no camera audio because it's plugged into the laptop. And the real audio was the metronome.
It was a metronome. Okay.
So there's this one way everyone said that you could fix it. Mm-hmm. Didn't work. Tried it I kid you not, 10 times. Over 3 days. Didn't work. By the time every time I was really motivated. Like, this time it's going to work. I'm going to match everything up right. It's going to work. Right. Didn't do it. Eventually I said, your blood pressure really, you can't do that. And so I just said, it is what it is. It ain't what it used to be. And so that was that. Gotcha. So we're sorry for no episode last week. The blame can be placed solely on me.
Oh, I thought you were going to throw it at me.
I hope that you can forgive me. You at home and Kyle.
Oh, of course. I can't even open a PDF file, let alone handle any of this.
Fair enough. I guess we know who the brains is, despite our conflicting degrees. But yeah, so we're here this week. Two of the topics we kind of talked about last week, we're going to morph them a bit this week so it doesn't sound rehearsed. Our top 10 summer songs, I correctly predicted that me and Kyle would have 3 that matched up, and I turned out to be right.
Yeah.
Our list didn't change. I changed one song just because the more I thought about it, that's all. And I ranked mine this time.
Oh, that's cool.
I ranked mine this time. Kyle had balls and ranked his, and I didn't rank mine. And now that I've defended myself for the first 5 minutes, welcome back to Have an Opinion. We hope you're having a good time, you freaks. And we're excited to have you back here on YouTube. If you like what you see, follow the podcast at HAO Podcast on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Don't have any of the others because our Twitter barely has any following. So we're not going to go make other pages too. But you can also hit subscribe down there on the big old YouTube ski. Kyle, how's life? I heard you had a war today with your slicing and dicing.
Slicing bacon. So the problem with bacon, well, the big problem is that I sliced ox roast, like the first 4 times I had ever sliced anything, because a guy left, and so now I'm I'm one of the slicers in there. And so every now and then they'll throw me on ham steaks or they'll throw me on bacon, which is fine. It's just, it gets sliced differently, it gets packed differently. Ox roast is kind of its own thing. Slicing it, you got to cut it out of a bag. It's all messy. Mm-hmm. Throw it, slice it, grab it off the belt, and just throw it in a tub. I mean, you can picture a roast beef sandwich. It's just meat thrown together.
Yeah, ox roast is kind of a thing where we're from. You could probably just compare it to roast beef, you said.
Yeah.
It's what we're having at my grad party Sunday. So maybe the bucket of slop you put together will be the bucket we purchase.
Pass through these hands. And so with bacon, it comes out in slices of bacon. And the one thing I never realized is so a slice of bacon's this or whatever. A ton of those together is a huge slab of bacon. I'd never seen it, until I started working there. I never saw it that way. Mm-hmm. But so it goes through and you kind of have to flip them over, get them nice and neat. But if the bacon gets too warm, I mean, it's still under 40 degrees or what, but if it gets too warm, it gets kind of goopy. If it gets too cold, like frozen, it gets like rock hard and it doesn't slice well. And just naturally, it was just all over the place today. And the belts got messed up and you got to go in and fix it. And it's one of those things where like I've had a bunch of problems on the slicer. And so I feel like it's just me. Yeah, everyone around me is like, gosh, that cow just sucks. I'm like, it's not me. Like the belts, the grease.
You're like, ah!
Yeah, they get all slimy and they kind of veer over. You have to move the belt back. But I'm too self-conscious.
Every time you talk about your work, even though they're not comparable, I think of the Drake and Josh scene they ripped off from I Love Lucy where they're just throwing the sushi up in the air and getting it to stick. I always think of you at the slicer and like there's all this meat and like you're ripping it apart with your hand to make it go faster because you can't cut it with the thing quick enough.
I always think of that they're called like roll stocks, but it's the same idea. Like you grab hot dogs and you put them into a little pouch and there's 10 or however many in that specific pack. But yeah, it's the same thing. You're just flying and if somebody turns the machine up to go fast, you're just... hot dogs everywhere.
Let the sushi roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Well, I went to work Friday. Again, loving the weekend job I got here. Currently my only job as the sports media market rummages through me like a dumpster behind a strip club or something. I don't know. I just tried to add more detail and it made it kind of weird. But they're like, I'm doing tickets. And they're like, the only thing you'll ever have to do is hit general admission or child under 12. That's all you'll ever have to do. I'm like, awesome. I show up to work at 1:30 on Friday. Gates open at 2. No. They opened the gates early because people were waiting already. So I got there. There's a 3-day event. You can either participate all 3 days, 2 days, or 1 day.
Right.
You can either attend all 3 days or 1 day. No 2-day option. And you give them wristbands because they're allowed to camp out in the one area.
Okay.
At the place.
Okay.
Without giving too many specifics. So I went, and I wasn't told what wristbands correspond with what. I was given 6 clipboards with wristbands and notes on them because you could pre-register too. And just said, here you go. And for 6 hours, I did that.
So
with this other lady. She was like so nice about it, and they were like laughing, like, oh, not bad for not knowing what you were doing when you got here. I was like, yeah.
So you could only stay 1 day or 3 days and wristbands.
There was no 2-day pass. So you either would have had to fork up the money and get the 3-day pass or buy 2 1 days if you were only staying for 2 days.
And they didn't tell you which wristbands corresponded to which?
No, I mean, they were on like the paper, but I literally got handed the papers and wristbands, laid them all out, and they opened my ticket window. Like, okay, here you go. And people could pre-register.
Oh, I see.
And people don't know all the lingo that I needed to know.
Right.
So they were like, yeah, I bought tickets already under whatever. And I'm like, are you driving or are you attending? And they're like, oh, whatever. And then I would look through their name or look them up on the system and then be like, oh, yeah, they're here. Oh, no, they must not have done it. And then there are people that said, well, if this name doesn't work, then my buddy must have bought him, and that would be under his name. And so, I'm looking up 4 names at a time, and I was like, holy crap.
That's funny. Yeah, that's something you never would think about, as the guy buying tickets. Like, oh, yeah, my buddy probably got him. Meanwhile, you're...
Yeah, I'm putting the iPads and the mediocre internet through the ringer. But we're about to put you through the ringer on some hard-headed opinion. I didn't like that wording, but it's opinion time. The Nick and Kyle life banter's over. We don't talk until the show starts. Never. I've blocked his number. He just says I will show up on Wednesdays, and then I just have to. I can't do anything on Wednesday because I never know when Kyle's going to come. But before that, actually, no, we can't do it in the middle because I don't want you to not drink that for the whole first half hour of the show. What do we got? What do we got there? You said you were going to wait for your first sip till we were on air, and then you've been sipping at it already. So now that you're a liar, why don't you at least tell us what you got and how it tastes?
Kiwi apple Red Bull. Good. It's the green edition, like Red Bull does the yellow edition, the red edition. I think red is cranberry. It's not great. It's okay. It's good. I don't think I've ever had it before, which is surprising because kiwi apple, anything is right up my alley. But so far I've had, a NOS, a Mountain Dew, and a Red Bull. As far as brands go, we're checking off all the boxes on the new episodes, and I'm excited.
I agree. What are we giving that out of 10?
Oh, man, now you got me thinking.
Hey, we got to put something on one of the graphics on the screen. We haven't had anything yet.
We just, every now and then it just pops up. The green apple was 6 out of 10.
Did you know?
I give it a 6 or a 7. They have this is a sidetrack, but there's a coconut. It's coconut berry Red Bull. It's the white can. I hate coconut. Like, I don't eat any coconut, nothing. Coconut milk, the water people drink, nothing. That Red Bull is in probably my top 5 favorite energy drinks. You know Abdallah, our friend Abdallah. He told me about it, and he was like, the first sip is sunscreen. Tastes like sunscreen. If you can get past that blast of coconut, because the berry that's in it makes the aftertaste sour, so you're not left with like bad coconut after flavor. That's just to anybody who hates coconut. If you can just get past it for a second, I think the berry is strong enough to make a coconut hater a coconut lover.
Wow. So we talked about Star Wars last week. We've talked about Star Wars numerous times before. Disregard. No, I'm just kidding.
Just right past it.
I know. I'm not talking about your coconut. But I might try that. I actually don't mind Red Bull. Getting back to the Red Bull, I do not mind Red Bull.
I take small ones to work. So like, you know how Red Bull comes in the small cans?
Yeah.
I have small white ones. I'll bring you one.
Wow.
And if you don't like it, guess who would finish it? Because it's that good. The only thing that stinks about liking energy drinks
is that I feel like my kidneys are going to fail.
Well, yeah. Well, you don't drink them a ton. Like this one, I never feel the caffeine boost because I just drink too much caffeine.
This is
all the
decaf
time.
because that's the only K-Cups we had. My dad's decaf ones. Absolute robbery. Star Wars. That's what we're going to talk about. Now that you're all done, you're all our friends anyway, so like you might have liked the catching up with Nick and Kyle. But now it's time to get into the other crap that random people might tune in for. We talk about Star Wars all the time. It always comes back to Star Wars. It's the geekiest stuff we'll ever talk about on this show.
Yeah, it's a good
topic. So now we're going to take it to the next level. The next level. Because what we are planning has never been done before on a podcast that I listen to. And I listen to like 10 podcasts. Not religiously, but 10 podcasts. One of them is this show. And I know we've never done it before. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm sure someone has done this before, but no one's going to do it as haphazardly as we are going to do it. That's a guarantee. What we've been planning, there's no details ironed out yet. We're just going to explain it.
I figured we could do some of that right here. And then,
we're going to have a Star Wars tournament. Okay? Get your lightsabers, get your Jedi robes, put your cloak on, put the hood up. We're gonna have a little battle. I'm not sure how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Not sure we're gonna do votes or what. Fact of the matter is, Star Wars tournament's coming up. We're gonna talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk about it a little bit. I think we're gonna narrow it down to 16 people.
Okay. I was thinking about this at work today, trying to come up with my ideas for
We're gonna have a thinking session out loud, and you're going to get to listen to it.
I like it.
I'm thinking again. This is all preliminary. We're going to have the meeting live for all of you. I'm thinking 16 people.
Yeah.
We got our 1 seeds. I'm thinking 4 1 seeds. It's 1 through 8, 1 through 8, 1 through 8. That's not how that works.
1 through 4.
Nah, just do 1 through 8.
1 through 8, so
I
2
think
1 seeds.
Yeah, 2 1 seeds.
I mean, yeah, because then you could do like a Jedi and a Sith 1 seed.
Yeah.
The one thing that I was going to ask you, and I don't want to throw off your train of thought, I think it would be better to mix them. Like, for the 1 seeds, you could do 1 Jedi, 1 Sith. But I don't think we should keep it all Jedi on the side. Because the problem
we want
is
the fantasy matches.
Exactly.
Too.
Because it's like, oh, the best Sith is this guy and the best Jedi is this guy. Even though, like, well, if this dude fought this dude, he'd win. You know what I mean? Like,
do we do Anakin and Darth Vader? I feel like you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, you could, because they were different, at least, like, their fighting style. One guy was like more robotic.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, I would say. What I was gonna ask you, the other question is, where do you put guys like Han Solo?
Nowhere.
So is it a lightsaber?
You need a lightsaber.
Okay.
If you don't have a saber, you're out of here.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I know Boba Fett, Jango Fett could put up a fight, but I mean, you figure anybody who has the Force could basically take one of those guys and just, put them against the wall. You know what I mean? Do something. Granted, anybody who has the Force that could do that, but like if 2 of the same guys have the Force, then you can't just control the other guy the whole time. And the only guy with lightsabers that doesn't have the Force would be Grievous, but he's got 4 arms, so I don't think Boba Fett's doing too much.
He does have 4 arms.
You know what I mean? I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of what's the word? what's lobbying? A lot of lobbying from this guy for Darth Maul and Grievous to go far.
That are going to take place during this thing. Again, we don't have the details ironed out. I want to spend a lot of time on our last topic today, so if this goes a little short, this one, then that's fine with that's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
But let's think out loud. Who is our number 1 seed?
So
for each side, we'll argue our number 1 seed. This won't be definitive, but I want to hear who you think. We're going to give our biased opinion first.
Right off the top of the head. I would say a disclaimer, too, is like, we're both familiar with canon, familiar with everything, but like, you're not going to see like some of the people with like yellow lightsabers from the comic books, some of the Sith who were around before Qui-Gon.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa,
yeah. We'll cap it to the movies. They got to be in the 9 movies. How about that?
Yeah.
They got to be in the 9 movies, and we'll based off of those movies and the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our thinking is.
Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
Good.
The 9 movies, and I don't think there's anybody.
Because I know Vader has a ton of cool stuff he's done, but like I got to go off of what I've seen at least,
Yeah.
Plus Rogue One. So number 1, you probably got to put Sidious number 1 for the Sith.
Yeah, you're right.
Which feels weird, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of good Sith. What's crazy, a crazy one I was thinking of is Dooku. Dooku's like the man for a lot of the movies, but he's old when you see him because he was a Jedi and then he turned. So it's like, I don't know. He's going to be a weird one to rank.
Boomerang on Cartoon Network lightsaber handle.
Oh, yeah.
But the point to that argument also is that Darth Vader, we know, was constructed so he couldn't overpower him.
True.
Which is kind of funny when he lifts him up and goes, ah, and the lightning's like,
yeah, and he throws him down the well.
You like that hand motion?
That was good.
Only for him to be sitting in a lair, potentially being attracted to his great-granddaughter.
Maybe we should cap it to 1 through 6, because that's where my other thing. Well, actually, I'll give you another 1 seed for the Jedi. I'd go with Obi-Wan or Yoda.
I think we should do 1 through 9 because I want Kylo Ren.
Okay,
when he hits the invisible Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker breathes heavily. It's my favorite. Great job with those boys.
Rey and Kylo Ren will be added just to make it fair.
They'll be in the talent pool.
Okay,
they'll be in the talent pool.
I mean,
I can't guarantee what's going to happen.
True, I haven't sat down to pick out 16 people with lightsabers.
That's
we
why
might get through 10 and be like, all right,
we're debating some of it here. We'll have a full bracket for you next week.
Yeah.
And none of your input will be included. But it will be when it's time to pick a winner. Maybe.
Yeah. We could consult John on this one, too. He would know some of it. Or he would just laugh at us, and then we'd go on without listening to him.
Yeah, he would tell us that we need to look at the canon more, which I get it. He's a canon guy. Mm-hmm. Number 1 Jedi, easily Kit Fisto. His tentacles.
Every time. Yeah, that's one where, like, it's... For this bracket, I don't think Kit Fisto is going to be ranked anywhere, if even on it. Even though he's really good in the comics and stuff, based on the movies and casual fans.
Jedi. I didn't want to cut you. I'd have to maybe Luke, like the late stage of Luke.
I always forget about Luke.
Yeah,
I'd put
the original or protagonist of the thing. He always slides under the radar.
Yeah, you forget about that guy. I'd put Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan or Revenge of the Sith Yoda is my 1 or 2, and then Luke's probably
Yoda. I forgot about that little shit.
Yeah, I mean, and you figure he's like the perfect foil to you remember foil? Perfect foil.
First outer inner last, baby.
That's not what I meant.
Go math.
Him and Sidious, like old. They both kind of use the lightning. They both, less sword play, more force. But I'm trying. It's probably got to be Yoda, Obi-Wan as your 1 and 2. And then Sidious and Vader as your 1 and 2. I know we said we're not going to break it up half Sith, half Jedi, but
yeah,
because that's the interesting thing.
I don't know.
Like,
I just try to think of actual fights Yoda had, and I can't put it together really.
Well, he fought Dooku.
Yeah,
and then he fought Sidious.
When he does his little flying in the air.
Yeah,
and then he runs away from
Sidious.
I think he deserves to go to the final just because of how he kills the guards for Palpatine. But he's just like,
they're
just like
fly against the wall.
They're just like, and then he jumps around on his paw. That's the best visual in that movie is when he's throwing the like Senate like pod seats out. He's like,
spinning
ah! He's like throwing them at Yoda, and Yoda's like, ah, trouble I am.
Wow, that was good.
But yeah, there's a lot to think about going forward. Let us know what you think, if you think anything at all. If there's any of the 8 people that end up watching or listening.
You know what we'll have to do is construct. So the 2 seeds. I feel like we're gonna run into half and half.
Yeah.
Unless you just make a 1 through 16 ranking, and then like number 1 is a 1 seed, number 2 is a 1 seed, number 3 is a 2 seed for number 2. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You would have to give. Oh man, I think it could work. I think it will work.
I'm actually editing my list for the last topic right now, so I apologize.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm trying to think. So like 1 Sidious, 2 Yoda, 3 Obi-Wan, 4 Darth Maul, we'll just say. Then it would be Sidious is the 1 seed, and on his side of the bracket would be number 4, the worst of the 2 seeds, since he's the best of the 1
What
seeds.
if we did it? Never mind, that wouldn't make any sense. I was gonna say by movie, but that'd be dumb.
Tough.
That'd be dumb because then you'd have the winner of the battle at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, how do you pick over them?
Right.
So that'd be dumb. My bad. Sorry to everyone. Speaking of brackets,
Yeah.
we're gonna move on to sports now.
Yeah, I think we should before we just ramble.
Yeah, which we were already close.
Oh yeah.
We'll move on. College football playoff. 4 teams as of right now.
Oh yeah. Right.
Kyle and I think that should change.
Yeah. It's.
I'll give you the floor if you want to start.
Sure. I think a lot about college football. I'm big
I
Ohio.
think you think about it when you sleep. He thinks about it when he wakes up.
I'm never not thinking.
He
about
wakes up
college
and thinks of
football.
Joel Klatt.
Joel Klatt is the best commentator, hands down.
Him and Gus Johnson. Oh my God.
Yeah, Fox
Put it
games
in my
are the
arm.
best. Yeah, they're the best because you can tell he cares. Like when you listen to Joel Klatt on Colin Cowherd's show, this guy goes home and he does his research and stuff. Not that other people don't, but he's just really good. So. Yeah, there's 4 teams right now, and the argument every year, should they expand or not? And I get that if you expand the playoffs, you lose the meaning of the 4 games at the end. Like, because the thing Joel Klatt and Colin Cowherd have said, I forget which side because they've kind of jumped back and forth, but every game matters. You can't really lose more than 2 and expect to make playoffs. And I get that. It's this weird place in college football where the top 4 teams are like up here. 5 and 6 are here, and then it's like, you know what I mean? You can tell. I mean, even Alabama, Ohio State this year. Who do we play in the play? I'm an Ohio State fan, by the way. I don't know if that's.
I didn't know you were on the team, Mr. Wee.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that, but either way, that's right. Beat Clemson, which was a close. Well, it wasn't necessarily a close game, but like that's a close matchup. And then we get to Alabama, and it's just crushed. You know what I mean? And Notre Dame's the same way. They beat Clemson in a close one regular season
without Trevor Lawrence.
True. But then lost to Alabama, which I believe they lost to Alabama by less than Ohio State did.
Yeah,
because I remember people were saying that. That kind of hurt a little bit, but either way. So the point is, there's always those top 2 teams that are, if Alabama's great one year, you're stuck. You know what I mean? Like this past year, no one really had a shot. I didn't think Clemson would have been able to do it. I was hoping Ohio State would, but we didn't. So what I think we should do, we've talked about this, if you do the 5 power conference champions, and then from there take the next 3 best teams, it'd be 18. I know you've said that too.
That's
so
what I was going to say.
Yeah,
you take the Power 5 conference champs.
Right.
And then the next top 3 ranked teams. I
think that, because if I had to redo it, I would at least make a way for teams like BYU, UCF to get in and get stomped.
That's my thinking.
They get in, they get stomped, and then you can say, we told you so. You're not good.
You've got those teams going undefeated like UCF, and then they beat Auburn, which kind of shut up all of the people saying, oh, well, Auburn had injuries that year too, I think. But still, people are like, look, we beat Auburn.
Right.
There's no route for those teams to get into the playoff.
Right.
because
they should
how
definitely
can
have a
you
shot.
justify a UCF getting in when, one of these other top 4 teams, their only loss is to a team that's also in the top 10 right now or something?
Yeah, like when Alabama loses to Georgia, but then they win their division or whatever, the conference. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the only logical way, because now we're at a point where we know people like the playoff, we know it works, but now you have to adjust it, now you have to tweak it.
Well, and
all these other sports are changing how they're formatting stuff too. So why not just do college football, who desperately needs it more than anybody else does?
And there's so many bowl games, and what I don't understand is
don't get me started on those money-making.
Yeah, and people will say, well, if you expand the playoff, you lose bowl games. I mean, whatever happened to, like, isn't the Rose Bowl, it's Rose Bowl and Orange Bowl are the semifinals, and then there's the national championship,
I think
right?
so, yeah.
So just make the Fiesta Bowl or the Tostitos Bowl just one of the playoff games.
Well, I mean, that's what they've been doing, too.
Yeah,
they've been making
right, to expand,
the New Year's 6, whatever.
Yeah.
Those are all basically playoff games.
Yeah.
I can't remember them exactly because, frankly, I don't care about the names of them.
Right.
I care about the Rose Bowl, kinda.
Yeah, the Rose Bowl.
But, like, I don't care about the Sugar Bowl. I don't care the name. I care about who's playing.
Yeah.
I would much rather watch number 7 frickin' Oklahoma State get run out of the water by Alabama than I would 6-6 Memphis playing 7-5 UConn or something in the Heineke Clark Center Bowl.
Yeah.
Or the Rush Truck Center Bowl. I don't care about those teams. I don't care about those games.
No.
Give me something. Those are all games that you say, yeah, it's on, I'll watch it. It's sports.
Right, because there's usually no football
no one's watching a 6-6, 7-5 team playing a bowl game unless they like that team.
Right.
Aside from the fact of, I like college football and college football.
Right, you're just watching. Yeah.
By that point, the games are meaningless. It's not like it's a random, lower scale Big Ten game that you're like, oh, this might impact the standings. I don't really care about either of these teams. I'm home on a Saturday. Let's watch the game. Because those games all have meaning.
Yeah.
When you get to the end, when you have 35 bowl games, it's on.
People opt out.
Hey, there's Frey. You guys want some beer? Come over, grab some chips. We'll watch a game. Oh, this is the game that's on.
Right. You just throw it on.
And then you talk about high school days or something stupid.
Right.
Like, no one's going to be heartbroken if there's no Heineke Car Center Bowl, if there's no Pizza Hut Bowl.
Up,
Like, it doesn't matter.
The one thing I wanted to see, and I haven't checked, I usually do watch what Joel Klatt says about this, because I think he said something about a play-in tournament, or like, obviously playoffs are a tournament in and of themselves, but I forget how many teams he said. He talked about maybe like a 16-team playoff, and I forget the reason why, and that could be totally wrong. I think
that's too much.
Yeah, maybe I forget what he said. He had an idea that was kind of interesting, where you get a bunch of teams in. I
think with football, though, the preparation and stuff takes so much. And you have to keep in mind, these are college kids. Yeah, a lot of them probably won't go to the next level. But if you're talking playoff caliber teams, there's a good chance some of those guys are going to go. And I know, like, you have to play college to earn your way into the NFL, but then you're just adding. If you're adding all these games, assuming you're not taking away any games, then you're up in the risk of them to get hurt.
Yeah,
one more round is fine.
Yeah,
to me, but like I don't think making it a 4 or 5 step process to get in there is necessary.
Right.
Especially when, granted, sometimes they have a couple months off, like season ends in November, and then they don't play until New Year's Day sometimes. But I mean, football, you need to prepare for it. They're college kids, and I know the NCAA doesn't care about, prioritizing their education over something. But you also, and especially if, like, your number 1 pick's going to be there, like, you don't care if he's going to class. But at the same time, like, you can't be like, okay, we're going to have the season go another 2 weeks because we're adding all these games and all of that.
Well,
with 16 teams.
Yeah,
someone's going to get embarrassed.
And that could be totally wrong. I was just going to bring up way more than 8 teams, and I don't think that's the right way at all. And for the reasons you said,
you could maybe do 16 if you got rid of top 25 rankings.
Sure.
I think another problem is people are way too focused in on the rankings.
Yeah.
Which to an extent, like, you have to be.
Right.
Like, this team's been number 2. They've been in the top 3 all year.
Yeah.
I think you look at it differently, though, if you were to be like, oh, Georgia's lost 1 game. Who'd they lose to? Oh, Alabama.
Yeah.
Maybe they should be in there because they've beaten 3 other ranked teams.
Yeah, and it's tough because they had that, like, council of people who get together and make the rankings. And because, yeah, my dad always jokes, like, if Ohio State wins, but they don't blow somebody out, they might get bumped just because they didn't blow somebody out. Like, it doesn't matter if you win, it's how bad you win, how...
And that's what's weird about college sports is that you don't need rankings in pro sports because you take the top 2 teams from certain divisions. You know, you take the top team and then a wild card or 2, boom, there's your playoffs. College football, as we've said, a team in Conference USA might be 12-0, just like the Alabama is or Notre Dame is. So how do you go, okay, well, these 12-0 teams are fine, but this team's not. That's why you kind of need to have the rankings.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I think there's like an unnecessary use of those rankings to justify what gets in. And you might go, well, that's stupid. What else are they going to base it off of?
Right.
I think too often, it's all about when you lose, too.
Right.
If I'm the 4 seed and we lose, the last week of the regular season and drop to number 11, but the number 2 team in the country lost in week 2 and then won 9 games in a row, well, they're still going to be number 2 because their loss was so long ago they had time to make up for it.
Right.
So then you have rankings that sometimes aren't reflective of who the best current teams are.
Yeah. Well, kind of like with Clemson this year, Notre Dame was ranked ahead of them, but they won, like you said, without Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Or they lost without Trevor Lawrence. And then in the playoff, obviously they're way better when he is playing. I think 8's the ideal number. And what I was thinking about while you were talking, I don't know if there's a way you could do it, but like if a team goes undefeated, they make the playoffs like mandatory.
Yeah.
The only problem, you would have to cap it to conferences, obviously. Like, if, a local school goes, it's got to be D1 or whatever. But what are the chances like multiple teams go undefeated and that would cause problems in the future? I'm just trying to, foresee any problems. But because like I said, you should let those teams make their case. UCF, UConn, Memphis every now and then. Fine if you're, let them go. And if they get embarrassed, then you can tell, whoever makes the change can tell people and say, this is what we were trying to tell you. If we expand too much, people are just going to get stomped, which I do think.
And I think that hurts.
Yeah.
I think that hurts college football as a whole.
And I think maybe that's why they don't do it.
You have a team that's literally 10 spots away from another team and they lose to them by 40. Hell, it happens when there's a team 2 spots away from another team.
Oh, yeah. Imagine say UConn or Coastal Carolina's ranked 5 just because they're undefeated and they end up playing, I don't know, whoever's ranked 4 because we were saying, how much.
I forgot Coastal Carolina's been good.
Yeah. Coastal Carolina plays Notre Dame or something and just gets walloped. And then Notre Dame plays Alabama and gets smoked. Like, it's so top heavy that I think you at least got to expand the playoffs just to let teams have a shot. Because the nice thing about college sports is there's always that, like, underdog story motivation. I know it's bigger in March Madness because it's a longer tournament. But, I mean, who was 7-8 this year? I think, like, Georgia, Florida, Oklahoma were all in that range. Those are great teams with great coaches. They could upset any, especially because those teams play Alabama, play Ohio State. Maybe Michigan.
Who did Ohio State get in over that everyone was pissed off about this last year? Was it Oklahoma?
I don't know, because we were 3rd this year, I think. We were 3rd or 2nd. Because Notre Dame was 4, right? And Alabama 1. And we were 2nd or 3rd.
No, because Notre Dame played Clemson in the first round, right?
We played Clemson. Notre Dame played Alabama.
Oh, yeah, because Ohio State smoked Clemson, and it was like, oh, Justin Fields is the number 1 pick now, not Trevor Lawrence. I forgot. I think was it Oklahoma then? I think people were mad about Oklahoma.
They made a good run. They started off really bad, and then they got really hot.
I can't remember. Like, so much happens, especially COVID season, because I was like, this college football season doesn't matter at all. Right. And then, like, more teams were like, oh, no, we're actually going to play. And I was like, well, the hell with you. But, yeah, so it was weird. I remember it feeling like they were trying to get Ohio State in.
Yeah. Well,
they were like, oh, they've only played like 6 games because the Big Ten was going to start later, but they can come in, and it was like a whole thing.
We didn't play as much. That's why, because I remember there was a reason, and when you brought it up, I was like, I don't know, we were great this year. That's why, because they didn't play as many.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, our 6 solid Big Ten wins, better than
The Big Ten was donkey this year too.
True, solid. I mean, like
Yeah.
rival. You know.
Yeah, you had Penn
in
State
division.
and Michigan.
Well, and like Alabama every year plays Citadel, and I think that's the other problem is they got to work on scheduling.
You need those games though.
Oh, you need
They
'em.
can't be playing the top 10 every week.
No, but I forget what the stat is. It's like the amount of times Alabama plays a ranked opponent in Alabama or at a neutral site in the South is like insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably Nick Saban, pulling straight. You know what I mean? Obviously, you want to play those games where in the spots your team's good.
I
but-
mean, they have so much money from that program. They can just bring in out-of-town teams and to willingly get beat up on so their program, lands in the black
right?
that year instead of the red. 'Cause they pay good money for those games.
Yeah,
That's why if you ever see like a non-conference game, you don't have Twitter, so you wouldn't know. And not like it happens that often, but like a non-conference game, if a school like invites a smaller school and the smaller school upsets them, they'll be like, "Hey, thanks for the payday." Like
Oh.
enjoy the loss on Twitter sometimes if they're like a really petty kind of deal. So I mean, they make good money bringing in or paying those teams that come in. So I
Yeah.
mean, Alabama too. Why not get some extra tickets?
that's true.
You have so many home games a year too that are non-conference.
Right, that's a good.
I
Point.
still would rather see them play a decent.
Game.
I'd rather see them like beat up on a small Big Ten team or something than play
yeah.
the Citadel or
like Alabama, Wisconsin, like at least teams.
West Alabama, river flowing down the Mississippi East. I don't know. One of those schools that doesn't sound real, like Rocky Mountain State East or something stupid, like something like that.
Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
that one
IUP
always.
baby.
Oh,
That
yeah.
and California University of Pennsylvania.
Cal.
Those are my favorite.
That's
No offense to anyone that goes to those places. I just
no.
always think the names are so funny.
Yeah. IUP. Yeah, I think they got and I think they're close to expanding it. That's what I was going to end on.
I feel like they have
every
to be.
year it gets closer and closer. Like I said, let the bad teams, not that they're bad, but let the teams
The
who play
teams
a
that
weaker
are likely to
sch-
get smoked.
Right, let them in. Say I told you so if they get smoked, and if they upset you, then cool. They proved you wrong. Add a little parity. To college football, you could have 1 through 8.
Mm-hmm.
1 seed gets a bye. 2 plays 8. 3 plays 7. And then the worst seeds play, and boom. That's what they should do, and that's what I hope they do.
I agree.
And that's all I got to say.
Well, we'll move on.
The big one.
It is
The one
time.
you've been waiting for.
It is time. Perhaps, the most anticipated segment in the history of this show, our top 10 summer songs. We
The
did them
history of
last
the
week,
show.
and none of you heard it.
Oh, that's
We're
right,
gonna
you
do it
rank yours
today.
now.
We're going to do it today.
I don't remember a lot of yours, to be honest with you, and I
Hopefully
definitely
you'll
don't
hear
remember
it.
the ranking.
We hear you. We see. We understand you. My phone is like blowing up because of the stupid thing my alma mater did today, and I feel like I need to answer people right now.
Oh, no, you go
So I'm
ahead.
being very rude today, and I apologize to everyone, to my friends and my family. Kyle, number 10.
Number 10, Redneck Yacht Club, Craig Morgan. I sent it to you today.
You did.
I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it.
I
It's
listened to the other one, but not this one.
good. Oh,
I did
that's
not-
all right. The other one's better and better band, catchier. Once we get to the other one, I'll ask
What
you how
makes
you
this
liked it.
song a summer song? What makes it good to you?
It's a country song, so we touched on this last time, but like there's different types of summer song. This is the type where like country music, you're out on a boat, you're with your friends, catchy. Yeah, it's not like a reminisce, you're not sitting by the fire. It's just a catchy, upbeat Redneck Yacht Club. Like, doesn't that just sound fun? And he kind of sings about it, and it's goofy, and
We're goofing.
yeah, something about like their president's named Bob. He cracks a cold one at like 8 in the morning or something. And I don't know. It's fun. It's catchy. And it's one of those country songs like from childhood. that
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, I remember those days.
Takes him back to when he was a young burger,
Dude,
a young patty.
mid 2000s country was just
I agree
another
with that.
level.
Whatever you were going with there.
No, you're just on another level. Great. Toby Keith.
Number
Alan
10.
Jackson. Oh, that's right. I'm ready.
Number 10. I like keep the way Kyle talks. We've been friends for like 5 years, talk almost every day, and I never will ever catch on to like Kyle will stop and think for a second and then keep the thought
Yeah,
going, and I'm just
I-
like jumping in there, and I always feel like such an ass. It is
I
what
do
it
that
is,
a lot.
but it ain't what it used to be.
Go
Number
ahead.
10, the new entry to the list.
Oh,
We bumped out a song
What did you take out?
I took out Slide by Migos and Frank Ocean.
You had to explain that one.
I like that song. That would probably be my number 11. But number 10, because she had to be on here somewhere, I also really wasn't a fan of the lack of representation of women on my list.
Okay.
Maybe that's social justice warrior Nick coming in here, but I think the wonderful women musicians of the world deserve to be on this list, and I think they were very men-dominated. So Taylor Swift comes on the list
Think of what song?
with Our Song.
Our Song is the slamming
Our
screen
song.
door.
You're telling me you're not rolling the windows down and going, like it's a song that's literally inviting you to sing along. It's our song. It's a summer song. Our song.
That's awesome.
It's the slamming screen door.
That one would definitely make my top 15 probably. That's another one from childhood. Like my mom bought the first Taylor Swift CD that came out. I think that was on her first CD back when she was like country only.
It's her with the curly hair with like the bluish background.
I think it's still her best song to date.
That's a great song.
I'd argue her best, at least top 3.
Honorable mention for her would be 22. That's probably my number 12, 13 because I am 22. Nice little summer bop, but Our Song, very solid number 10 in my opinion. You got the kind of like storytelling country kind of pop country vibe. Where I feel like I could be watching this play out in the movie or something.
Like the music video for it. I
can put myself in the situation and it's fun, sing along. I think it makes for a good summer song.
That's good.
I'll do my number 9, then go to you.
Nice.
COVID. Maybe wrapping up, maybe not.
I thought that was your number 9.
No, number 9. Number 9, deadly diseases. COVID. Number 9, Mask Off by Future.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me about
Kyle doesn't know this song from a hole in his butt. That's okay. Not everyone has to like the same thing. Mask off, F it, mask, or mask on, F it, mask off. That's the hook of the song. We're taking our masks off. We're getting the Fauci vaccine, his secret sauce. We're getting it put into our arms, and the masks are coming off. So I think it's a good pump up summer song.
What an inviting way to tell someone to get a vaccine. You want the secret sauce pumped into your arm?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, do I. It's, number 9 Stays in Mexico, Toby Keith.
Good one from Toby.
Yeah, it's another beachy country one. It's about the dudes in Mexico, and there's a girl there, and like they both have families back home, but they hook up in Mexico, and what happens in Mexico?
Yeah.
Stays in Mexico.
I love the there's things down here the devil himself wouldn't do line.
Yeah.
Like and like from a summer perspective, it's just like, you're doing something dumb in the summer, just like hanging out. You've had a few too many. You're doing stupid stuff.
Exactly.
There's no Toby on my list, which is probably surprising to everyone. Rum is the Reason would be my Toby Keith pick. We could have done a top 20, and I still would be saying, man, this one could probably be in my top 25. Whenever we said it, we'd add another 5 to the list and be like, oh, it makes my top 45, but not my top 40. Actually, give me your number 8.
My number 8. To keep up with the Mexico theme, I remember laughing.
I forgot you had
this.
like 7 Mexican songs.
Yeah.
Not Mexican songs, but
on the last one, I said it like 5 times in a row. I said the word Mexico, and I couldn't stop laughing.
you started laughing randomly. I was like, what's going on here?
Have another beer in Mexico, Kenny Chesney. Kenny Chesney's probably like, if you were to say summer country, feel good country, it's at this point in the game, it's probably Kenny Chesney's the go-to.
Yeah. I think American Kids by him.
Strong that's contender. Right. We talked about this last time.
Strong contender for me.
Yeah, American. That one's more like maybe sitting around the fire. A little more reminiscent of summer. This one's a little more like have fun in the moment.
That's like a good summer concert song, actually, more than anything.
But yeah, that's a good one. Comes to mind.
Number 8. Not a huge fan of the person. Not even like the biggest fan of the song. But I think it needs to be in here. The Boys of Summer by Don Henley.
That's right. We told me about
Eagles.
This one.
Again, it's not like my favorite song. I think it's a little weird. It's very 80s vibe kind of feeling. Heavy synth, kind of good guitar. Again, not my favorite song. Good summer song though. Probably the only time of the year I'd actually like go out of my way to listen to it.
Or not like skip it. That one's on the radio a lot, but that is a good one. You again? Number 7?
Number 7, Summer 16 by Drake. Going into senior year. felt like kings of the world, realizing that it really wasn't that big of a deal here a few years later, being a senior in high school.
Jeez.
But Drake just had so many really good songs while we were in high school and middle school. I think it had to be reflected somewhere here. So I choose to put him at number 7 with Summer 16. Some might say One Dance by Drake. No, I hate that song. Get it out of my face. Get it out of here. We're going to go with Summer 16.
Gotcha. I am not familiar with Drake's music very well. Anything from like 2010 to 2020, I'm pretty hazy on. My number 7, Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson. I understand there's a lot of country on
Why'd
here.
you say hoochie? Like,
Chattahoochee?
he went, the emphasis on the ooh.
Chattahoochee.
He went the Chattahoochee.
I don't know, Chattahoochee.
Sounds like a skin disease. The more I think.
Yeah, I got a bad case of the start
Chattahoochee.
itching everywhere.
Chattahoochee.
Yeah, it's great. It's I don't. What's that song about? It's about him like
Being down on the river.
Yeah,
and
down
how
on
much
the
those
river.
muddy waters meant to him.
Yeah, it's him reminiscing and with his friends. He's takes a girl on a date, settles for a burger and a grape snow cone. He dropped her off early, but he didn't go home.
No, he did not.
He went back to the
No,
river.
sirree, Bob.
Yeah, and that one's just like that's just summer in general. You're hanging here, you're doing this, you're doing that. You always got Chattahoochee.
Now we go to your number 6,
Yeah.
if I'm keeping track right.
That's right. Springsteen, Eric Church. This might have been one we both had. We definitely talked about it. This one's more of like you're sitting around a fire. Maybe summer's getting. There's songs where like you're sitting around a fire to listen to, and then there's songs like, man, summer's flying by. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I wish the time would last longer. Not that this song is even really about any of that. It's just about. It's just
Being older.
yeah, it just makes you think about that kind of thing. It's a slower one. I have some of those as my list goes on. Like, the more my list goes on, I think the more the songs mean. They mean a little more.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. The more I look at it, some of them don't. Sorry. I thought I was about to get really deep, and then I realized like 3 and 4,
yeah.
they're just really good songs.
He gave it another glance over.
He's
It's
like,
like, never mind.
That might not touch you.
Number 6 for me. Those were the best days of our life. Bryan Adams, Summer of '69.
We did talk about this one. I keep saying that as if we didn't talk about the
Bryan
I remember
Adams,
that
like
one.
people, I don't think a lot of people like Bryan Adams. I don't know what he ever did, but this is the only song I really know by him. There's like maybe 2 others, but Summer '69, I like the song. Got that nostalgic feel, but it's kind of an upbeat song, so you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Good listen.
Yeah.
Good listen for the summer.
I also feel like people don't care for Bryan Adams, and I don't know why.
I don't know what he did. I think he did something kind of scummy, but I don't know what
Oh,
it was.
really? I like Run to You.
I might be wrong.
He's got a song called Run to You that's catchy. That one I just hear a lot on the radio, so I skip that. But it's still a good song. Good summer song, too.
Number 5, Sarah's Diners. Classic go-to song. I've heard it there, even though they usually play 50s, 60s music, because that's the theme of the
I
diner.
remember this one.
Billy Joel's Uptown Girl.
And I remember saying that's one that I would consider adding heavily.
You can say that's not really a summer song. His wife at the time's dancing while him and his mechanic buddies in the music video are making crank noises to cars and running around chasing after her while she's waiting to get her friggin' muffler changed or something. But I don't know. Something about it.
It's catchy.
I think it's the first time I really heard that song. I was like, what is this song? This is great. Was during the summer at that Sarah's Diner here in Erie. And so I associated with that, and just like it's upbeat, it's catchy. You can listen to it like 30 times in a row and just still be kind of grooving along to it. Not necessarily like a summer song, a catchy song is automatically classified. I made a word up between those two. Not like one of those is automatically a summer song, but something about this, just like, you see a pretty girl during the summer, you're like, ooh, like imagine wooing her and like being her guy
Everything
or something.
working out
I
that
get to
well.
live that life. I lived that life. Hi. I know Kyle, my girlfriend doesn't like Kyle, but hi. Maybe. I think it's all a facade. But whatever.
Hope so.
Whatever. Kyle's like, oh man, now I'm going to think about it tonight. What's your number 5?
My number 5, Kokomo, the Beach Boys. Classic. I mean, you can't have summer music without the Beach Boys, and Kokomo's a great, what's it called? I completely blanked. I was about to just say, oh, it's a great song. You already know that. Great song. It's got that steel drum. I remember bringing this up last time. It's got the steel
They
drum.
even acknowledge it. And
Yeah, that's
falling
right.
in love with a steel drum band.
That's right.
And then they go, "That's your cue."
He plays right along. It's good. It's got the kind of like the Mexico songs. It's got that like island feel. Rum's the Reason has a steel drum. Same idea. A vacation song. Makes you want to go on vacation, be on vacation.
I agree.
Great one. Number 4, the song I sent you that wasn't Redneck Yacht Club that you did listen to, Saturday in the Park.
I liked that one.
Yeah. And when I looked these up, because a while back when we had come up with this idea, I Googled popular summer songs because I didn't know, are they popular because they came out in the summer or like Uptown Girl just because it sounds good in the summer? It's, catchier. And that one was on there. And I know they mentioned the 4th of July in the song, but like other than that, it's just about
It's like
being
Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. It's like just being in the park on a Saturday, but it's catchy and I love Chicago.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
People...
Or 5 o'clock. I can't remember if it's 5 or 9 o'clock in Piano Man.
9 o'clock?
I think it's 9.
I think it's 9. It's 9 o'clock.
I feel like it's 5, though. Every time I convince myself it's one, I think it's the other.
Man, I just don't want to sit here in silence, but I could think about that for a while.
If you had a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you with confidence.
Billy Joel
Life on the
standing
line.
right behind the camera. What is it?
No, he's still following her around for Uptown.
I'll have to send you the video or just watch the video, Uptown Girl. There's one background dancer with Billy Joel who is 10 times more over the top than anybody else in that song. He's smiles all weird. He's like very into it. And I'm like, it's Billy Joel and his girl. I don't know why you're getting so close.
Hey, Jeff, you're going to be in the very back. Just don't make anything too...
Yeah, don't make it too... it's weird. He sticks out.
Maybe he was dancing to your number 1 song in the background. A little teaser there if you suffered through this long. What number are we at? 4?
4, yep.
Hotel California.
That's right.
By the Eagles, or as I have them written here, Eagle.
Eagle.
The one. I guess that's what we call Don Henley or the boys of summer. Hotel California.
Yeah.
California makes me think of summer. I don't know. It just kind of hits different in the summer.
It's a good driving song.
Kind of like
Windows
reminds me of a
down.
vacation, and it's a great driving song too.
Yeah.
I wish I had more since it's so high up the list. It just feels right in the summer though.
Yeah.
Again, my
No, it's a good
4
one.
and 5 just feel right in the summer.
I like that. This is a good one. Next time we're with like a group of people. Not that people know their summer songs off the top of their head, but I wonder what most people would say. Maybe not their number 1, but like what comes to mind when you say summer songs.
Tonight when we all hang out with the friends, hey, could you just give me your top 10 summer songs, 10 through 1, just really quick?
When you finish that free throw, if you don't mind.
Hey,
Me, number 3? Or was that was your number 4, right?
yeah.
Okay, your number 3. Go for it.
So this is funny because my top 3 songs were just in your list, but they're in a different order. Number 3 is Springsteen by Eric Church.
That's right. We did have songs that match.
Kind of weird to go to a kind of nostalgic song here, a nostalgic summer kind of tune where it's challenging you to think of like when you were younger.
Yeah.
But I love it here. I love when it's like an August song. You know,
Yeah.
when you're a kid and it's
That's
August,
where-
you're like, summer's almost up here. We got to make the most of it. It's like a life summer song, but it's the August of summer. Like, it's just looking back at everything.
Yeah,
and I
it's not
kind
like
of love that
June.
about this song.
I hear you. That's kind of how my number 1, similar idea. For number 3, I said courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, Toby Keith. It is 4th of July to the max. It's just because part of summer that is so big. Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, picnics, America. Summer, even though the 4th of July is only one holiday, summer feels like it's, I don't know, America's time. I don't know how you put things that happen in the winter aren't universal to America. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. That's not just here, but you know what I mean. Like it's got that feel. Independence Day. I don't know. Summer at home, hanging out, going to picnics, and courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue.
Great song.
Maybe it hasn't aged the greatest, but
That's
he
like
also wrote it like
that came out in really like right after post 9/11 country nationalism through
Yeah.
the roof. There's nothing wrong with a song or two like that here and there.
sure. And back
being
then, it
on
was
your
kind of-
playlist.
yeah, it was a big thing back then too. For has it aged?
I mean, that was
I don't know.
that was the attitude then. You're gonna mess with America, you're gonna get it.
Oh yeah.
So what if W wanted to go over there for some oil? You know?
It was attitude was very much different, and Toby Keith just became that guy, the pro-patriotic,
Uh-huh.
super country
He had a
music
lot
like
of
that.
them. He had like American Soldier.
Yep. Made in America.
Yeah, Made in America.
I was
He
about
had
to say
he had a
Beer
few
for
of
My
them.
Horses, but
Beer-
that's not really America. That's just the good old
That's
boys.
for a movie
Yeah.
with him and Willie. Oh, man. Well, Kyle,
right.
I hate to tell you this, but we got to go somewhere for my number 2. We got to go. We got to go out.
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
We
for
got to
him.
go somewhere. You know where we got to go?
Where?
Way down yonder, the Chattahoochee. You never knew how much those muddy waters meant to me.
I thought you were about to say like, well, the camera just died,
No,
or like
no.
you let me know something and we got to redo.
No, that's just telling you that we're going to the Chattahoochee.
I understand. It's a great song.
As you said, it's funny because my top 3 are all songs Kyle said before. Maybe spoiler for my number
We
1.
always do that. One of us. I apologize.
We knew it this time too because our trial run, I guess we could call it, last week. These songs were all on there. But what a song! Just replayability through the roof. Just like I'm having fun and in the summer, and this is a place that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
I could make a song called Presque Isle, and I would be
You're right. It would fit right in.
And you know, it's
I
good.
think being
There's not
from a
much to add to what you said, but
I would say being from a smaller town, city that we're in, I feel like it means a little bit more. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like a song like that wouldn't be a hit in the city. 'Cause
no,
you don't have that
New
local
York,
spot.
New York City. You're not like
Yeah, you don't have your spot you go to.
Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Never
hit the
knew how
same.
much Lady Freedom meant to me.
Terrible. Number 2, I have Surfing USA, the Beach Boys. I tried to impress you with my double Beach Boys songs.
Yeah. It should be noted that my list could have been almost all Beach Boys. songs.
Yeah, you can't have summer music without them. Surfing USA is just the, like, hey, I'm going to the beach. What music do I want to hear? Boom, that's it. Granted, I think about those things in an older sense. If I'm going to the beach, I play older music. I don't play, the new stuff. But it's great. It's catchy. Everybody likes it. It's just one of the ones that, like, even if you don't love the song, you got to at least respect why
Yeah.
it's been a hit summer song this long.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 1?
Stood the test of time.
It did. Do you want to go or you want me
You
to
can go.
All right.
Mine's not fun because you've already heard mine.
I feel it was awkward. Like, so the last time when we did this, I built up to my number 1, and now that I don't have that full train of steam behind me, I feel like it's like, here's my number 1. Night Moves, Bob Seger.
Good stuff.
Oh, the best. This is, to use the phrase you used, an August song. You're driving down the road, you're thinking about the good old times, a little sad but not too sad, wind in your hair, maybe sitting by a fire. Night Moves is the best. Just a great reminiscent song, and I guess of summer music, maybe those are my favorite. The ones that you can listen to by the fire, or the ones that just, you sit and think about how fast time flies. And I was about to just go down a dark path, but I just keep getting darker. Nothing else matters.
No one can even
It's
see me slamming that over there. Number 1 for me. We got to go somewhere again. To the Kokomo.
Where are we gonna go?
We'll get there fast, or we can take it slow. I think me reciting the lyrics to Kyle, talking them to him, is making him irate over there.
It's all right. It's all right.
Great Beach Boys song.
Yeah.
Just naming all of those tropical places you'd love to go in the summer. Being with someone you care about for them. It's a great summer song. There's not much more to say.
And everybody likes this song. You go up behind somebody, say Aruba, and I bet you they say Jamaica before you have a chance to.
Jamaica. Can you take your mask off? Jamaica. That was a very lame attempt at a joke, and I apologize.
You're doing good. Keep trying. One of them's gonna stick.
We hope you've stuck around with us for this entire episode. We're gonna get in a flow.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been kind of clunky out of the gate, and then every time we get like past the half-hour mark, it's like, oh.
To be fair, the last episode was great. First.
Oh, we were
and just because 2 of our topics we've already talked about. You don't want to sound too redundant, because I mean, me and you could sit and talk about music for hours, let alone movies, sports, our lives. To cram all that in, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Mid-season form. We're on our
Well,
way
next
up.
week will be the best episode of Have an Opinion ever.
I wasn't informed.
You can sit there and doubt us, but at the end of the day, next week, next Friday, will be the best episode of Have an Opinion ever. I guarantee it. That's all I have to say. Any final thoughts from you, Mr. Burgerman?
I hope we live up to everyone's expectations now that I know that.
Yes. We'll see you next week on Have an Opinion, you freaks.